G Show, Peter G Show. Divorced dad, single dad, divorced dad, single dad. Peter G Show.
Hey everybody, Sunday night right here. April 18th, something like that. Getting lost in my days. How the hell is everybody? I'm going to give everybody a chance to catch up, tune in. And if you don't, you'll catch the reruns. Everything lives on forever. I know on the East Coast it's late. People complain. They write me, Peter, I love you. But it's really late and I got to get up at 5 in the morning. But I'll catch your shows during the week. Please do. Speaking of catching the shows all during the week, don't forget, subscribe to YouTube channel. All right. Facebook's getting weird. I want to back everything up. We're switching streamings. We are now officially live on LinkedIn. For those of you who know what LinkedIn is or happen to be on LinkedIn, definitely saves me a lot of trouble. We can go on straight to LinkedIn now and don't have to upload a day or two later just to get it up there, because that's a very important venue for me. It's all professional people from every walk of life, but all my TV people, music people are all up there. Doctors, lawyers, you name it. They're all there. Anyway, it's good to be here. Windy day here in Southern California. Hot and windy. My eyes were tearing up all day, and now there's some sniffling and blowing up all the winds and pollens and all that stuff. Fortunately, I'm not super sensitive, but enough wind will make anybody... Wait, here comes the music. The official start. One day I'm going to have a different official start. But right now, this is the official start. Anyway, last week we had a great show. I don't know if you caught last week's show. If you didn't, shame on you. Because last week we had Dr. Jenny Wilkins on. And we're getting a jump start on mental health. All the problems that go with it. There's so many facets of it. And she was on from South Florida, stayed up super late. She's a little spitfire, too. So we covered a lot of ground, and we got sidetracked a lot, too, because she was fun. But I was told I need to stay focused. So I'm going to try and stay focused. Try. That's all I can do. Anyway, last week was great. If you didn't catch the show, you should. Dr. Jenny Wilkins, she'll be on another time again, I'm sure, because she's got so many different avenues to talk about things with her, and she was fun, and she was entertaining, and she was full of information, too, so that means a lot. Next week, last Sunday of the month. What's last Sunday of the month mean? You guessed it, East meets West. Doctor. He's not a doctor, but he plays one on TV. Baltimore's own Mr. Bob Paff is going to be on with me next week, and we are going to kick in more mental health with Bob is really close to his heart. So being that next month, May, the month of May is official Mental Health Awareness Month. You know, we were getting jump starts on it because to me, there's no time that has to be to talk about that. It's always important. And he's going to be on with me, sharing the stage as he does once a month with me from the East Coast, telling me what's going on over there as I bring him a bunch of stuff to talk about from over here. But we're going to try to really zero in on mental health, being how we'll be only 2 days away from May, and emphasize on it because I won't be able to do it all May. Well, maybe I will. I'm not sure. But for all I know is right now we're going to talk about it. Like I said, anytime's a good time. The beauty of it is, I just told you what we did last week. Tell you what we're doing next week. Tonight I'm going back closer to my roots. Tonight I'm going to have Mediator, author. She's got an international bestseller. That's right. You want to take a seat? Brace yourselves. Going to have Miss Veera Mahajan. And she's going to come on and talk about mediation, family stuff, social working things. She's got a book out. It's all about, here, the title will tell you itself. Her book is entitled Unreported Crime, Domestic Abuse. Pretty much says it all, right? And there's a lot of that goes on. And she's going to tell us that we're going to talk to her and get her view of what's going on and what she's doing about it and with it. And I'll be glad to do that because, again, when it comes to family law, divorce, single parenting, problems, relationships, all that kind of stuff, that's the stuff that's closest to me because that's how this whole show started. So I'm very, very blessed tonight to be able to get her on tonight, and I'm sure it's gonna be very interesting because, again, you don't talk about things. I don't talk about this stuff nearly enough anymore. I get sidetracked again very much because there's a big world out there with lots of things to talk about. But when I get the opportunity, boom, I'm in. But first, for those of you who may or may not know, where am I? I could not be here if it wasn't for my beloved Bolt Energy. Bolt Energy, that's right. Me, or should I say Pepsi, and I are going to tell you a little something about it. So I'll be right back. Hey everybody, Peter G from the Peter G Show and my friend Pepsi right here. Hey, we're here to tell you today about my beloved Bolt Energy.
Bolt Energy.
Bolt Energy. Electrify your senses. Did you know that, Pepsi?
I did not know that.
Yeah, electrify your senses. Bolt Energy has no preservatives.
No preservatives?
No, and it's enriched with antioxidants and vitamins.
Antioxidants.
It's a cleaner energy drink.
Cleaner.
That's right.
Nice.
And, you know, a couple little tidbits you might not know because
Yes.
I don't talk about it very often, but the Apollo mission, man on the moon.
Man on the moon. To the moon, Alice.
Bolt Energy.
Moon.
That's right.
Electrify.
That's right. If you would have looked in their storage bins, what do you think you would have found?
Bolt Energy.
Bolt Energy. Ask for it in stores, Bolt Energy, and tell them the Peter G Show sent you. How's that?
Hey, Peter G.
All right. Peace out. Love you guys.
Peace.
That's right. Bolt Energy. No preservatives. And I like the way it tastes. You don't have to have a big giant can. I'm going to pop open a can right now, as I always do. Again, these guys are workout fanatics. They developed something that was a cleaner. You know, a lot of people say energy drinks, they're not good for you. It's like, what is good for you? But this is all natural, and there's no crash. And it's not going to get you all psyched up and overbuzzed where you're climbing the walls. Did you hear that can crack? Excuse me 1 second. I like the way it tastes. I like it really cold. I'm not a coffee drinker. I like bright and sparkly. It's a little bit carbonated. And again, go ask for Bolt Energy. If you can't find Bolt Energy, just go on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter at Bolt Energy LLC, and they'll tell you. And I had something else I want to tell you, and I completely just spaced. But that's my job. Bolt Energy. Love these guys. And again, they know what I do and they still sponsor me. So what's more to love? All right, a couple more things, then we're going to bring Veera on. So get ready. Go get your popcorn, glass of wine, a beer, water, whatever, because it's going to be stuff that you're going to be enthralled with, I'm sure, because, again, deep subjects. Just want to remind you guys that Facebook is just continually changing and giving me a hard time. And if you're watching the Peter G Show and you're not subscribed to YouTube and you're not on the official Peter G Show page, that you need to be on the official Peter G Show page or YouTube. And I strongly suggest YouTube. Hey, and I just turned on the comments. Gary Usher. Hey, bro. Hey, Pete. Hi, Anna. Yeah. Look at this. All these... couple of newbies and some of my solids. Let's go. Keep it going. Facebook will not let me see comments live, which is getting harder and harder to do because they go rolling by. But unless you're subscribed to YouTube, which I strongly suggest, just go to the Peter G Show YouTube, hit the button. It's that simple. It's really simple. Yes. And subscribe, and then you can comment and I can see you live. But if you're on the Peter Gisellas page or the Peter G Gisellas page or any of the other pages, Facebook is not allowing it, and it really, really drives me nuts. But again, that's why we're moving stuff as quickly as we can over to YouTube, and And, I'll stay on Facebook until they make it utterly impossible. But that's what I want you to do. Another reason Facebook is being a pain in the butt. I used to run these watch parties, which we used to share during the week for people who can't stay up late and watch this show at night. And I'd share the shows during the week, different times, earlier in the evenings, early afternoons, late afternoons. They've done away with the watch parties effective April 16th, which was last Friday. Gone. So that's the end of that. So now it's all on you guys. If you want to see the Peter G Show, of any of them, you need to go to YouTube. They're all lined up, and there's hundreds of them. It's probably almost 300 shows there. Pick what you want. If you want to keep up weekly, but subscribe to YouTube. It's going to be much easier, because Facebook, it's a real pain to try and find them, because I do all the short little snippets, and then you got to keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. Love it, though. Love you guys for paying attention. All right. Without further ado, I'm going to bring on Veera and let her take charge, because I've done enough damage for the first few minutes. Okay. And hey, Veera, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for patiently waiting while I had to get through my beginning stuff.
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I just got through a few minutes ago telling everybody that not only are you a mediator, family, you can call it family law. How would you want to put it?
I work with families, and I also work with small business, because to me, small business is almost as like a family, because most small businesses, they start between friends or things like that. And so I consider that a family thing too. And I also teach mediation. So I teach at a private school, and I have realized that teaching kids has been amazing, because once you teach the children a good thing, they will carry it through the rest of their lives. So that's something new that I'm working on. We can talk about it,
So basically, in general, whether it's business getting along or personal getting along, it's all about getting along.
Well, getting along or being respectful. If you think of being respectful to each other and expecting to be respected, then you will behave.
Right.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But not only are you a mediator, and I don't know when you put this book out, but I know you have a book, and
Yes.
this is pretty serious stuff. And
Well, my book is called Domestic Abuse. Where am I?
There you go.
Unreported Crime, because I feel domestic abuse is growing because people don't talk about it. People talk about keeping it behind closed doors, don't air your dirty laundry. And I'm not promoting bitching about it, That is the right word to use here.
Oh, you can.
But,
Great.
yeah. So, most people all they want to do is, if you see a lot of other Facebook groups and stuff, all they want to do is just talk and let other people know, I was there, we've all been there. But that doesn't mean that, that's waste of time to me, as far as, hundreds of people coming and saying, oh, don't worry about it, it'll be better, don't worry, I was there, I can, we can do it. But you can't do anything about it other than bitching about it, like I said, unless you take some steps to get out of it. If you don't want to get out of it, then nobody can help you. If you decide you want to get out of it, then I can help you. That's where I am as a mediator. If you want to seriously get out of it and you want to do something about it, if you just want to complain, there are other Facebook groups and there are other people, or you can just go and keep talking about it. That's not going to do anything. People spend all their lives that die in that, and people know they're in domestic abuse. And somehow people think, including me or my life, when I was trying to get out of my abusive marriage, there were some friends who were like, oh, Veera, don't worry about it. We're all in the same boat. We're all the same. It's like, no, I'm not like you. I am not going to be here forever. I stayed as long as I had to, but not because I'm going to stay here forever. I never accepted it.
Okay. Let me wind it back, because I want to take this in pieces, okay? We got a pretty good bit of time. It's going to run on down before you know it. But so prior to this, you weren't in this when I first, because I've been watching you again. I don't remember how, but you were doing something with a magazine or something in Malibu, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I was publishing a magazine called Malibu Chronicle.
Completely different.
Yeah, and the tagline there was also all good news. And the magazine came after my divorce. My background is computer science. I'm
Oh,
a programmer.
shocking.
And I had a software company in Michigan that I ran with my husband, which, as a narcissist or whatever, egotistical person, he just told me a couple weeks ago that your only role in the business was you were married to me and you were alive. And I was the president of the company. The
This was a couple of
company,
weeks ago.
yeah.
Well, apparently, at least you guys are talking.
No, we're
Yeah.
talking because I wrote an article
Uh-huh.
which was published in Thrive Global. And why do you read my articles? You
Oh,
know what I work with, you know what I talk about, right?
right.
And he says, you make yourself look good because you say you were working. It was a woman owned business with a certification for a woman owned business. And they come and they interview not just you, they interview everybody. And all the managers or a lot of people randomly to see who is running the business and if I'm capable of running the business by myself. And that's how I got the certification for a woman-owned business. And yeah, he was the CEO of the company because I didn't mind. He's my husband. I always agreed or not agreed. It was by default. He was number one. I was number two. I was happy being number two, but he couldn't even stand me being number two. He just didn't want me to be seen. So he said, you make yourself look good by saying you were working. All your contribution to the work or all you had to do with the business was you were married to me and you were alive.
Okay. So,
Okay.
so how many years were you married?
I was married 23 years and
Okay.
now divorced 11 years. So when
11. Time flies, right?
yeah. So when I got out of my marriage, and like I said, my background was computer science and so was his. And we were very successful in business, but I came to Malibu from Michigan after divorce, and I was like, I'm going to do something completely different. Actually, for a while, I thought I'm going to be a hippie. I brought a guitar, which I still haven't learned. But then I started writing for this newspaper, and then I ended up buying it and turning it into a magazine because I didn't want to do anything that I did with him for the same reason that he just told me a couple of weeks ago.
No,
I had no contribution.
I get that, but I mean, here's the thing. And again, I'm trying to set up to where we're going. You got divorced, nasty divorce, long miserable.
It didn't have to be nasty because I waited long enough that the kids were older,
Right.
but it was still a
Tough.
year,
You
year and a
lived-
half.
You lived with things a year. That's not that long compared to some, but
I
mean,
know.
But I mean, I'm telling you, it's just everybody's divorce is horrible. I mean, when you're in your own. But the thing is, you put up with a lot of stuff for a very long time.
Oh yeah.
Something brought you to the point to where you wrote a book called, Unreported Crime, Domestic Abuse, right?
Yeah, so I'll tell you the history of how my book came about because when I was going through divorce, I had this protection order against him. So he couldn't physically hurt me because he had threatened that. So I couldn't go to work because our office was the same. So I had a lot of time on my own. So while I was talking to the lawyer and lawyer had to prepare, for the court, so she would just ask me what happened and I would give her these detailed stories of what happened. And so she said I was like one of her best clients where she didn't have to prepare so much. I gave her real detailed stories and she could go prepare according to that. So by the end of, so I started analyzing my own life, like outside, like I was running the company. I have some cultural groups that I was the president of. I had 2 kids that I was very involved in the private schools and a lot of other stuff I was doing. So on the surface, I looked like a very strong woman. How was I putting up with abuse at home? And I wanted to make sure that I never do that again. So I started analyzing my own life, going back, towards my, my life with my parents, my brothers, and then back to when did I start getting afraid of men in my life? Because I was never afraid of anybody else. I could work outside and work with people, men, women, no problem.
You had
But
family that lived near you at the time?
Oh yeah. My family's in Michigan also.
Okay, just
My
to, I mean, it
parents, my
helps.
brothers.
It helps.
Yes. So, but my father was also abusive. So I kept going back and analyzing, and then finishing all the way from my childhood to here. I'm divorced, and now my book is kind of complete. And I'm thinking, so this is not what I want to finish my book at. So she got divorced. That's not my goal. So on top of that, I've never lived a free life. how am I going to live free life? So I started interviewing a lot of people, and I wanted to live my happy chapter. So I interviewed a lot of people who had been through divorce and who were living amazing lives, like
Right.
financially, and they were happy.
Get it.
Not the still people who are still kind of fighting or complaining or bitching about their husbands or whatever. So I didn't consider them successful. So I interviewed a lot of people, and this book is a collage of stories of mine and about all these other people that I interviewed, and their success stories, their lessons learned, their advice. So all that is part of that book. So everything that we wish we knew when we were going through that, I'm bringing that to somebody who may be going through that now, so they don't have to go through the same problems that I went through. Let's say, like, I was going to a lawyer. If I asked her a question and I'm emotional, she would say, I'm not your counselor, talk to your counselor. And then I had to hire a
That'll
counselor.
be $400.
Oh yeah, and then I go to the counselor, I ask her some questions like, no, this is for the lawyer. So I'm crying back and forth to the lawyer, to the counselor. So all that information that the lawyers don't tell you and the counselor don't tell you, how once you do decide that, for one, I'm not an advocate for divorce. You should try to make it work. But
Sure.
if you have tried, like I tried for a long time, 23 years I was there. Out
Yeah.
of that, 14 years I should not have been, definitely 14 years before my divorce, or when I said I was going to leave him, I wanted to leave him, and he started threatening me that you'll never see your children again. So that's why I stayed 14 more years till my son turned 18. So I didn't have the custody problem. I didn't want to go through a custody fight. So anyway, all those, clues and information and things that I wish I knew, and all these other people that helped me, wish they knew. So we're bringing all that information in this little book so someone else can have a little bit easier, a little bit faster journey to freedom and empowerment, because everybody deserves that. And
Sure.
now people say, so what's your life like now? Now I, pretty much wake up in the morning and it's up to me what my schedule is. What does Veera want to do? And that's what I do.
But never did you ever think back then you were going to go through the things you went through, correct?
What do you mean?
From your divorce, the way it was starting, putting up with it, dealing with the fear, not all of the above, all the things you went through that you wrote in your book. Did I know I honestly can say I never thought I was going to learn the things I learned. And
Oh, definitely. I call all that my boot camp training now, because I'm a expert of domestic abuse, because I understand the psyche of a victim, and I understand the psyche because I was there a long time with my father as a child, and then with my husband as a wife and a mother. So I understand how they behave. And now it doesn't even bother me. When he said that a few days ago, that your role was just to be alive and be married to me, it doesn't even bother me anymore. It doesn't even faze me. I can
I
zone
get
it
that.
out.
I know,
it's like-
because you're that much now. It's water under the bridge. You're
Yeah.
years down the road, and you're doing okay. I've been watching again. I don't know how we ended up in. We never really talked, but
Yeah.
you're in my feed somehow on Facebook.
Yeah.
And that's just how everything started. And I've been watching. You're a busy woman. You got things going on, so it helps when you're not drowning.
Oh yeah. No, I am living my happy chapter, like I said.
There you
go. Yeah. So that book that I started originally, which ended in the divorce, and I'm divorced, and that book is not finished. So this was a new book that came out of like, okay, I want to live a free life, and how do I learn? So this
When did you start then and write that book? The book you currently
at
have
the end of the divorce.
at the end of the divorce, which
Yeah,
was
because that's why I have all
11 years ago, 10 years ago.
Yeah. But then it was a journey in itself, because I interviewed so many people, and then, those people also were never heard, and they never felt validated. And a lot of those people, they would tell me, they just wanted to hug me. They just wanted to hold my hand. And then from there, it was like everybody would tell me, go talk to him, go talk to her, because there's more stories. People keep referring. So I had a lot of stories. And it's not, majority, like we say, perpetrator are men and victims are women and children, but it's not always true. I have some stories in here that are reverse abuse. Men are the victims, And there are some pretty tough, bad women
Yeah.
who can. They're one of the guys. I mean, I tell everybody the story is I can't tell you exactly what he does, but he's a wonderful business person, established, funny, handsome, all that stuff. And at home, he was so scared. He was living with his cat in the basement. And at the end of the interview, I said, "Okay, what are you going to do now?" And he said, "Well, nothing, just going to go to the basement and, stay with my cat." I was like, I feel like I should call the police right now and not let you go home. That why should you go live in that abuse?
Meow.
When people are living in that, they just don't see any better. And just like a lot of women, they think if I did some more, if I loved a little more, if I did something else, maybe life would be better. And he was doing the same thing. He said he loved her, and so he just wanted to keep loving her more and thinking this will work, that will work. But he was at a point, he said, no matter what he did, if he fought, he was a bad guy, right? And if he didn't fight, then he was not man enough. So either way, she just wouldn't let him breathe. So anyone who kind of gives themselves up in favor of somebody else, you give up your control, right? And that's the whole imbalance of power, of control that encourages or brings abuse on. Right?
I've always said there's good women and good men, and there's bad women and bad men.
Right.
And it goes both ways. I mean, guys are not always
Yeah.
the problem. And when you go to court, it's starting, depending where you're at, everybody's got mixed opinions. And as I said, I fared rather well considering when it came to child custody and all that. But the thing is, you just, it really, and when you have kids that get caught in the middle, now you stayed married until your kids were older, but I'm sure it still affected your kids, correct? It can not.
They got abused, but the thing is, at least I was there. And even now, when I look back and people ask me, I still feel with that person, with my ex, staying was still a better choice, because if I wasn't there, like he got married very quickly after our divorce, and our kids were older and he was older, we're not that old, but older. And if I had left him 14 years before, he would have definitely gotten married quickly and maybe have more children. At least now we don't have those half brothers and sisters and stepmoms and stepdads. And I was very young then too, so I can't say, maybe I would have gotten married and have other children. And that would have been a huge mess. And who would have been there if they were abused when I'm not there? That was my fear.
Yeah, it's a mess. But I mean, even grown, no matter, I find that sometimes, most of the time, no matter how bad somebody is, they're still their parent, and the kids still have a love. In fact, even when they're gone and they're not around, because they can't do anything wrong, so they become Superman, even though they may be the biggest idiot on the planet.
Yeah, and that abandonment thing that they feel from a father who's either abusive and kind of not so involved.
Yeah.
So it's confusing, because just like in a marriage or in a spousal relationship, romance, I was going to use the word romance, but romance it was gone a little while. But the thing is, they call it the honeymoon thing, right?
Sure. I like it.
It's good, it's bad, it's good, it's bad, and you always live for those crumbs of love. So children go through the same thing too. So let's say for 14 years, if we had a really abusive relationship, that doesn't mean every day of the 14 years was bad.
No.
There were a lot of good days, when we were vacationing and we're doing parties and going out and inviting people.
But when it's bad,
just like a normal family. But the problem is that you don't know when that thing is going to click, when the switch is going to be turned off, when he's going to turn into this other person, when you just cannot stop it anymore. You just are at their mercy.
Right.
There's no stopping, there's no asking, there's no begging. So in my book, that's the other thing I really promote. It's not about asking someone else to not hurt you, stop abusing you. It's you saying, I will not accept abuse anymore. So you say no to abuse by saying, I am not a victim. So it's like a bigger advantage is that once you say no to one perpetrator, whoever's bothering you directly at that time, you say, I am not a victim. and you build that attitude, you build this empowerment inside you and start becoming, owning your life and saying no to abuse, then it's not like you're going to say no to this person and accept abuse from somebody else. Then you become the queen or the king of your own life, the boss of your own life. Then you will not take abuse from anybody. For me, like, I divorced not one way. I feel like I divorced so many different ways at one time. I let go of even my own family because they were not supporting me. Even after they knew that what was going on, they still wanted me to stay married because the stigma of divorce.
Old school.
Yeah. And so I had to pretty much divorce them.
Yeah.
For a long time, I divorced so many ways. I'm like, no, I am taking charge of my life. Nobody gets to hurt me, not just him.
I think, unfortunately, people don't get to find this out until after they're already going through it. I mean, to learn, you got to. That's the only time they ever pay attention to things like this. I mean, I didn't. I was strolling along. Life was pretty good, but when things started going bad, I started getting sick from the inside out. Because I was just feeling it, and I just knew it. And lo and behold, so then I started learning. Then I started talking to people, it's like, and then you find out everybody and their uncle is divorced, a product of divorce. I mean, it's huge.
No, that's what I was telling you. This other friends, they're saying, oh, we're all in the same boat. I'm like, no, I am not in that boat, and I'm not staying in this boat.
Everybody's in different steps in it, some are way past it, like yourself, some are in the middle, some are just beginning, and your world starts crumbling down. A lot of people don't know how to handle it, and they'll start doing self-destructive damage to themselves because of it.
But that's why you have to look for role models. I hope my life is not now a role model where you can see that somebody who has gone through domestic abuse is past it, and now I see it from a distance, and it doesn't even bother me. I feel sorry for the people who had to be those perpetrators in my life, because if we say, what did we come in this world for? If I came in this world to learn from all that as, like I say, a boot camp training, and now I'm doing some good work. I have a book that helps people, like so many people who have read this book, they say it's changed their lives. And I feel sorry for the people whose job was to, be those perpetrators, be those people in my life or in anybody's life to teach us those lessons. So, I don't have any kind of hate or grudge or anything against them. I just phase them out and say, okay, I'm moving on. I'm growing.
I can honestly tell you that more than likely, I'm not a betting man, but I would bet on this, that had we not gone through this, we would not be here talking at this time point right now. I mean, this is what this is how my show started, and even though I kind of stray from the path just for entertainment purposes. I mean, any kind of information is good information, but and then you came to me out of the blue, which I was lately. I've been getting all these great things that have been coming to me that not expecting. Because I do want to talk about things like this, and you just—I don't know what prompted you to get a hold of me, but
I was just telling you about that. Since I am a mediator, and I just started actually another show on YouTube called Coffee with Veera, and I'm also doing the same thing, talking to people, more inspirational people. Because of the pandemic, people are at home and they're feeling more depressed. They're feeling like their life is on hold. They can't do anything. So finding inspirational stories. And then, as I was telling you, I watch Ice-T on SVU. That's one of my favorite shows about Special Victims Unit. And he just came on a mediator show. He just started a mediator show. And then I know you talk about divorced men and single fathers and all that. And I wanted to see if I can in some way, talk about mediation on your show, and if there was a, match or of some sort that we could do something together. And maybe I can help some of your clients. Maybe I can bring some ideas when you might need somebody, a mediator for, whatever engagements that you have on your show. So that's why I called you.
We're going to talk about this in the future next week sometime, because after we talked this afternoon, I had a couple of things but the thing is, again, I don't know how I crossed your path though. Even though we touch base, I mean, you still had to pay somewhat a little bit of attention to go, okay, this is what road he's on, and I want to, I'm on that road too. We should drive together.
Right, right, yeah.
We should commute.
Again, like, I think, I mean, I don't know if you're a believer in the universe or not, but I
Oh,
think
yeah.
universe does put our things together. When we need, things will come our way. So when people are so afraid about this domestic abuse, I'm like, once you decide that you don't want to be there, that's the lesson you came in this world to learn. To be free, to be empowered, to love yourself. The day you decide you deserve, universe will come and help you.
If this is the lesson that I came to be, I'm going to have a long talk with myself when this is all over, because I don't know why I would have done this to me.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, we do a lot of things till we learn that lesson and move on. I also have a background of spiritual psychology. If you don't mind, I'll tell you a little
Oh
story
no,
about
please
that.
go ahead. Join my bunch, because I'm getting bombarded with universal people now. I'm getting more and more spiritual as the year goes by.
Yeah. So in that, they talk about the world curriculum, what we came in this world for, right? So it seems like I came to learn domestic abuse. So I started really early as a child. I learned all that, and then I thought I was getting somewhat better than my father, who was better for a couple of years and then automatically turned into that because I hadn't learned my lesson yet. So I needed to learn more to feel like I deserved to make my own decisions. I came to love and be loved, and not just for serving. I don't mind serving as long as it's receiving also, right? There should be a giving and receiving, not just one-sided giving. People call it compromise. It's not compromise if it's giving one side. So what I wanted to explain this lesson system is, like, let's say in a math teacher at school, she's teaching you multiplication. She's going to keep teaching you multiplication, give you all kinds of quizzes and tests, and then you say, okay, she's pretty good now, and then you move into division. And then it's based, you still need to know your multiplication to understand division. And then somewhere in that, she will throw in some other quiz again to make sure that you haven't forgotten the other lessons. And I've seen that in real life. It happens so often. Unless you have mastered and you've learned the lessons that universe or God is giving you, you can't move forward. And I finally, after I think many years, I feel like I've graduated. But still, God will throw you those quizzes.
Congratulations.
But
I think I'm still in first grade.
no, but the quizzes will come, and sometimes it's like I laugh at myself. I passed, because those quizzes come, and you still feel, kind of all wound it up, and you think, what am I going to do? But you figure it out, and you get better, and you get better, and now
You either do or you think.
yeah,
One or the other.
no. But just like I was telling you the story of my ex just a couple of weeks ago, telling me really horrible, like pretty much making my life work to zero, and now it's like, okay,
Oh yeah.
I put where the fault is, where the blame is. I don't even let it touch me. It's actually just funny to me or sad to me for him, not for me. I mean, it did not bring me down.
It's true.
One iota, yeah.
And is he still married now?
Yes, yeah. He's
I mean,
been
you gotta-
married for almost 8 years.
Yeah, I mean, but you got to think that he's not going to change. I mean, it's in his DNA.
I
he's
know.
probably doing it to the current wife.
The thing is, people ask me about that, but that's her life. She's not, she's a
Right.
grown woman. She's making
Right.
her decisions, and
Right.
I didn't know what I was getting into. She knew what she was getting into because my whole divorce and all the stuff is in public
Yeah.
record, right?
But the thing is, it's he said, she said. He probably said, "Oh, she's a crazy. She's crazy."
Yeah, that's true. But also, she has her own lessons to learn,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And whatever he can provide her financially or whatever, maybe that's what she needed.
Some
right?
people can live with that kind of stuff. I mean, just different people. You're obviously, I think you're probably more than likely a stronger woman, whether you had your moments or not, because again, you would not be doing what you're doing now. You pulled yourself out of it. A lot of people
Yeah.
pull themselves out of it and they self-destruct, if not,
Yeah.
do harm. And, if you lucky, you catch those people before they do it and try to help.
Oh yeah. That's the thing. One thing is that I never accepted abuse. I knew it was happening. But I always put the blame on that. I never let my children even believe that. A lot of moms will say, "He's your father, but he still loves you. But this is how he is." But I wanted to make sure that my children always knew what was happening was wrong. It was not like I was bad mouthing their father. They were there. They saw it, right? Towards the end, they were telling me, why are you putting up with this? Why don't you leave? So, but I never accepted the abuse for myself or for my children. So I think that was the good part. Recently, there are a lot of Facebook groups that I was telling you that I sometimes comment and I try to help people. And there's this one lady, she's bruised up, her face is all broken up, and she's just talking to people for hours. And some people are giving advice, some people are just saying this, sharing their stories that they've been through this and that. And then someone kind of said, I haven't seen you in a few hours, I hope you're okay, how are you feeling? And her response is, I'm sore, my heart is shattered, and I cannot trust anybody, but other than that, I'm okay. I had to respond like, what is left after all that you're calling okay? What is okay after that? Your body is sore. Her face is bruised, and the rest of the body is, I'm sure, bruised.
Right.
Her heart is shattered. She cannot trust anybody else, but other than that, she's okay.
She could be dead.
No.
That's
Well,
it can always get worse.
That's another way of looking. Okay, it could be worse. It could be worse.
Yeah,
but also this attitude that people say, other than that, I'm okay. She's going to wait till her bruises are healed.
Yeah.
And then till the next time. That's why the next time keeps happening.
Yeah.
You have to decide, I'm not going to do this anymore. Not that he's not going to do anymore, but I'm not. You have to also take responsibility. You're somehow making yourself available, right?
Yeah. You need
She doesn't have any children with the person.
Okay.
She is not even married. She's living with him. But she's letting this person beat her up, and this was not the first time. It's going to happen again. She knows it's going to happen again.
Yeah, and this is where you hope you have a few close friends to lean on, and somebody like to slap you and go, you can't keep doing, because you get lost in it tomorrow.
But people who have gotten out, there were some women, they're saying sleeping in the car would be better than this.
Sure.
Get away. Just drive away. Keep driving. Go somewhere away. Yeah. But when I walked out, because he also threatened that he'll kill me, and I left in the middle of the night in Michigan, stormy night. And I didn't know where I was going at that time, even though it was my town. I just kept driving, snowing hard, and then I just saw this light of, what was it, of Comfort Inn or something. So I thought, Comfort Inn or something, yeah. So I just pulled out of the freeway, and otherwise I was just driving. So I didn't know where to go. It was the middle of the night, stormy night. And I stayed there one night. And then now I'm like afraid of he's going to find me. Then I found a one-bedroom apartment, but I didn't have that available for a few days. Then I went for like a long-term hotel place. Then, even then, as soon as I thought somebody's found me, I changed 5 places in 1 year. So it was pretty scary. And I had a protection order against him. And
how good those do.
Yeah.
You can have them, but they don't do anything until it's too late.
Until it's too late. Yeah. Right. So, but I'm glad that I'm out of it. And now all the lessons I've learned, all the education I've gotten since then, like I said, I've done spiritual psychology. So that also kind of brings in that thing that everybody says, was I born for this? Why is it happening to me? So some of these things you can, I can help you figure out that, no, you were not born for this. Because a lot of people just live that these are the cards you were dealt. That's what my mom told me. Even she knew it before, but now I was going through divorce. Still, she didn't want me to go through divorce. She still said, these are the cards you're dealt and you got to deal with it. So a lot of people believe that too. And they just live with that. So, and then I learned, I went to Pepperdine and I have my master's in dispute resolution. So I'm a mediator and dispute resolution expert. So I use all of those skills and my life lessons and the people that I've talked to, and I continuously keep learning from everybody. I bring all that when I go to mediation, and I help people hopefully resolve disputes more peacefully and respectfully, and I'm pretty good at that, to hold, a mediation where they can speak peacefully and respectfully to each other and hopefully come up with a win-win resolution.
How are you getting people, clients, so to speak, or I mean through Pepperdine or
Yeah, earlier, before last year, it was easier. We could meet
yeah,
people, you go to networking or whatever, and, it snowballs. Somebody sends somebody. But now it's a little bit harder. So what I'm trying to do is change everything online. I have my website where I've got my book online, I've got my mediation courses online. Not courses, my mediation sessions and stuff. And I have a workshop that I've done a few now. And so I'm also creating a course. Like I told you, I was teaching mediation at a school.
yeah.
So I'm working on a big project actually right now with somebody else from New York. And what I'm trying to do is, or what I've done so far at the school is we've been teaching students. And I just met a mom that said, I'm so glad my daughter, who was 11-year-old at that time, learned mediation from you because it's really coming in handy now. Those good skills, like, when you teach children any skills or any habits, as we form as children or whenever, they stay with us for a long time. So I've always been an advocate of that. If a habit is going to stay with you for a long time, might as well make a good habit, pick up a good habit. So learning mediation, to how to mediate for yourself, learn how to listen, how to speak, how to see what is the underlying problem, right? And what's making somebody unhappy. If you start listening for that and not be judgmental and keep your anger in control and not react, but listen and act accordingly. If you learn these skills as children, then the hope is that these same children will grow up to be, better spouses, better teachers, better parents, better
Oh,
leaders.
sure. Leading by
So,
example. I mean, there's
yeah,
no, if you're brought up to speak, I say it a
yeah,
million times, if you only speak, Yiddish, you're only
yeah.
gonna, if you learn to hate, you're going to learn to hate.
Right. Yeah, even religion, people fight over religion, but how do they know that's the religion? They were just born in that, or they grew up with that, adopted or not,
You're taught, yeah.
Yeah, so it's been really, really successful at the school. The whole culture of the school has changed. Like the principal of the school is like, go do your magic. And parents a lot of times tell me, I wish I had learned those skills when I was, younger, because
Sure.
they would have better relation. As you probably know, a lot of parents actually teach their children to not be bullied by pushing back. And that's not the way. That just increases fighting. You're making soldiers or warriors who are going to fight, but you're not teaching them how to listen and not fight, right? So if I can explain a little bit what a difference is between a mediation and a judge, can I explain that with a simple story?
Sure.
There's a mom who is cooking or doing something, and there are two kids fighting over an orange, and she really got sick of it. She grabs the orange, cuts it in half, and gives one half to each of the kids. And later she finds half the peel is in the garbage and half the orange is in the garbage, and she says, what is this? You were fighting over this and you were just doing it to bother me. If you didn't need it, then why the fight? And the girl says, I was just making a cake. I only needed the peel. And the boy says, I wanted the orange and I threw away the peel. So if the mom was listening to them, if she was a mediator, she could have given the whole orange to one and the whole peel to the other. And they wouldn't have to, first of all, lose half the orange and half the peel.
Makes
So a
sense.
lot of courts, when they give you half is not really
They don't.
good decision.
They're
They-
so. I can bring a million people on here to tell you how they feel wronged in court, no doubt.
yeah.
The judges, they're overwhelmed. They don't read all that stuff prior to, and they're sitting there. And again, I lived it, and I'm sure everybody else does too. And
Yeah.
you go into court, you're crossing your fingers, and
Yeah.
the cards don't really go the way you'd want them to go. I mean, both parties would feel that they deserve everything, but
Yeah, because even if you hire lawyers, you're just hiring your warrior and they're hiring their warrior. Warriors are fighting. So the fight is getting bigger.
they're not
right?
even fighting. They can go in the back room and they go, "Hey, man, how's
Yeah.
how's the wife
Yeah.
doing?" They all went
Yeah.
to school together.
I know. I have a friend whose lawyer sends her a huge invoice, and then she complains about it, and then he charges her for reading the whole invoice again.
Charges her for complaining. You have a 10-minute phone call, 10 minutes to $400 or $500 if you're everything. And
because
no
you
doubt.
call for 5 minutes and they're going to charge you for a quarter of an hour.
Anger does a lot of bad things. And again, I do have a lot of shows like this that speak, philosophically about, trying to keep it together. But there's some of the older shows, but, been down that road, and I was having to answer to the call all the time. So I was paying my lawyer just to answer, but it really was nonsense. At the end of the day, we both wasted a gazillion dollars because not one thing changed from the first day. It really
and that's the money that you guys could have shared. But you end up giving to the lawyers and the court system.
That's an old cliche that you could have put your kids through college with that money and all that.
Yeah, no, but if you hire a mediator, the mediator is a neutral person who has nothing to gain out of that, who's not taking sides, who is trying to bring a win-win for both of you.
I understand.
So you save time and money, and then you just write it up and take it to the court. And if they don't have to do anything, they'll say, okay, if you agree, here's your divorce decree.
I mean, know that very few divorces are amicable. Unfortunately, people get in other people's ears and get them, or she sucks.
My lawyer, herself, who used to try to, because I just cannot say foul words, I'm not a cursor.
Sorry.
Is that a word, cursor? I just don't use curse words, right?
Oh, I can teach you, no problem.
No, they used to laugh because I just couldn't say that. I say, okay, don't say that. He's going to laugh at you. Because they try to teach you hating is better. If you hate him, it'll be easier to divorce. But I used to think, if I'm not in the hate, I just want to save myself and my children. I want to get away. I don't hate him. I don't hate anything. Right. So, eventually, once you do get divorced, then they ask you to let go of the hate, find your life. But if I'm already there, why do I want to go back to the hate first and then go down and try to lose it? It doesn't make any sense.
The only way that we started wrapping things up is when my ex-wife was finally running out of money, and her lawyer was finally saying, okay, it's time to wrap it up, because he was milking her, and I know it. He'd get her all riled up. My lawyer was okay. He wasn't trying, but I needed him because I didn't want to go to court unarmed. It was my first and only time ever getting married and divorced. I've never done it before, and I just did not need to go in and get shot, a minute from not knowing. And now, if I knew what I knew then now, I didn't even need my lawyer until possibly the very end.
Guess what
I know.
You need is you need my book.
Right. Well, because here's the thing. See, that book, I'm a live book. But that's the problem. It's like you just don't know these things, and who knew what you're going. I don't like paperwork. I'm not an administrative guy, so I couldn't do that stuff. But it's all the same whether you read it or we talk it. Actually, it's a combination of everything. Retain differently.
Yeah. By the way, I have my book on audio also if people want to hear. It's an Audible.
Well, let's talk about that. Where can they? Because unfortunately, the time has just flown by. See what happens when we're having fun.
Yeah, what that means. Oh wow, okay.
Tell everybody where they can find your book.
Our book is on Amazon, and it's all. They have it on print as well as ebook, and you can find it on Apple iBooks, and also it's on Audible. It's also Amazon, connected to Amazon. Audible.
Right.
And Audible, actually, nowadays, they even give you a free book if you join or whatever. So it's pretty easy, and they keep giving you credits. So,
I like Audible because I can't focus and sit in one place. I know people who love to read. My daughter loves to read. God bless her, because I wasn't that guy. And I need to just listen, and I'm visual and a kinetic.
I love to hold a book, but for people like you, it is on Audible. Yeah. And of course, you can always call me, and we can talk about mediation. And I was telling you, I'm working on a project right now with somebody in New York that hopefully I can take it to more schools and teach children mediation. So,
if anybody wants to find Veera, where can they find you? How can they get?
They can find me on Facebook, on Instagram. You can direct message me on either or I can give you my email. Email me.
They got you on your full name?
Veera Mahajan.
Yes.
Yeah, and you can find my book by the name of the book, or if you just put Veera Mahajan,
Put it
I
on the
think
camera.
pops up.
Put it up in the camera a little bit more. Let's see. Let's get it really good. Nope, the other way. There you go. Right there.
Okay, you got
There
it.
you go.
Domestic abuse is unreported crime.
There you go.
Yeah,
That's
how it grows, by not reporting.
pretty good.
So
Pretty
yeah.
good. Wow. Is
So-
there? I'm looking and I'm thinking. We covered a good bit of this. I mean, we got your story, how you started, the book, what you're doing. Is there anything else, real quick, before I let you go?
No, just mediation. I think learn how to mediate your own issues or your own problems. I think that's a really good skill to learn. And call me, I can help you. So as for moms especially, like they say, if you teach a lady, you teach a woman, she can help teach the family, right? A lot of kids will learn from moms. I think it's very important for children, for moms and dads to learn how to resolve their own disputes. And I have online courses, and I teach mediation. I do mediation for your bigger cases like family law, if you're going through divorce or in a business, but for smaller things, for your personal issues at home, I can help you with the functional mediation skills so you can be your own mediator.
Wow. Okay. So,
Yeah.
so there you go, Veera. I want to thank you very much.
Thank you for having me here.
Well, for reaching out to me. I mean, usually I have to go after a lot of people, because a lot of people don't know that they can come to me. But you were cool enough to reach out to me, and again, you want to go with this universe thing. I'm totally in with this whole deal, because this has been. I know you've been in my feed for several years.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Yeah.
And
this is good.
Yeah, it's real good. So
maybe universe needed to put us together because something big is happening. Somebody needs us today. And somebody's going to hear us, and they need this.
They're going to hear us and possibly hear us again. That's the thing. If I space and do not call you this week, just send me a text so I can get back up with you about what we were talking about. Okay. I'm just telling you now while I remember. Because after this is over, it's like the show is the easy part. It was I tell everybody. It's before and after the show that is just complete insanity of constantly go to put it together for a lousy hour, an hour plus. I wish I was that. I just show up and walk in. One day I'm working towards that, but it's not there yet.
It'll happen.
Yeah, it'll happen. That's right. The universe is telling me so.
Maybe today is the show for turnaround.
Well, every one step closer. I know that.
One step closer, yes.
All right, Veera. Thank you again so much for being on Life of Peter G. Again, this show will be on live on YouTube, LinkedIn, all your Facebooks. The clips will be on Instagram because you can't do long shows. And if you have any need for it or you need anything from this show, you just let me know and I'll tell you how you can.
And I'll share it.
Yeah, because again, it's the gift that keeps on giving. This show will go on. So we're just getting warmed up. We're just throwing the bowling ball down the lane right now. Okay.
Yes. All right.
All right. Thank you so much, and
night.
we'll be in touch again. Okay.
Okay. Good night.
Right. Good night.
Good night.
There you have it, folks. Veera Mahajan. Veera learned the hard way, like most of us do. She had to live through it. The key is live through it. She went through it. She lived through it. She survived it. And now she's teaching it. Hi, my name is Peter. I just share stories. Tonight we went back to, again, family life, divorce, abuse, all that stuff that, that just kind of comes with the whole deal. For those who have happy marriages, God bless you. I envy those when I see these people married for 30 years, 35, 50, 65. Look, my parents were married for 60 years, okay? But it wasn't all a bed of roses, and I can guarantee that. But they stayed together and kind of came full circle, but there was so many times when I'd say, God, I just don't understand how the hell you even thought about getting married. You guys are so friggin' different. They were my parents, and they made it, and that was it. And I loved them very much. And as they grew older and they learned how to, they started taking care of themselves again. My father definitely stepped up to the plate as my mother became ill before he did, before they both passed. And so, I mean, it made me a better understanding that at least my father came back around, because my father was one of them. He's just a crazy Greek. And but when she couldn't take care of herself, he really started stepping up to the plate, because I was 2,000 miles away juggling both of them. But he stepped in, and not regained, but it gave me even more respect for him, because they start remembering why you got married in the first place. So that's important. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Again, please subscribe to YouTube. I just know that in time things are going to be changing. Even though I love my Facebook people and I'm still going to be on Facebook as much as I possibly can, but they're making it very difficult. And I really want everybody to be able to get all you can out of this stuff, because today we're doing, domestic abuse and mediation and things like that. And next week we're going to do mental health. I got Mr. Bob Path next week. East meets West, last Sunday of the month. Let me make sure I know what I'm talking about. Yes, I do. The infamous Baltimore's Mr. Bob Paff. He comes on once a month, does a segment with me, and we call it East Meets West. He's on the East Coast, I'm on the West Coast, and we pick subjects, and sometimes we take several different things, and we just share our points of view from different sides of the country. But I know that mental health is very near and dear to him, and God willing, we'll be back next week and be talking a lot about that, along with maybe a couple other little things here and there, but we'll be here, East Meets West, next week. Again, I want to thank Veera for coming on, and hopefully we'll be seeing her in the future sometime. Again, I love repeat guests when they have something to bring to the table, because it's worth it, and this is worth it. I want to thank Bolt Energy. Yes, I do. Bolt Energy. Electrify your senses. I could not be here if it wasn't for Bolt Energy. No preservatives. Ask for Bolt Energy in stores. If you can't find Bolt Energy, go to Twitter, Bolt Energy LLC, Instagram, Bolt Energy LLC, and Facebook, Bolt Energy LLC. And say, hey, Bolt Energy people, where is this Bolt Energy that Peter G speaks of from the Peter G Show? They'll tell you where you can get it. They're new. They're growing. Lots of change going on with them, too. I'm telling you, lots of things are going on, all because we put in the work and the effort. Well, I love each and every one of you. And again, comment your comments. If I didn't see them, I'll see them. We'll check them out. It's hard. I've got people that have to look at these things now. It's getting a little bit crazy at times. But dang, I will have to watch the replay. See, somebody missed the show. Well, yeah, just go to your YouTube and just hit the replay, because, again, Facebook took away the watch parties. I'm telling you, I don't know why they do what they do, but you can't talk to them either. They don't tell you why. They just do it. And I don't see them doing anything better to benefit it either. I think that's it. Look at that. I'm almost back on track. Last week I went way over and I got reprimanded by my doctor. And I want to thank my doctor for being more than a doctor, being an understanding soul, for caring and highly criticizing this show. But I'm a professional, and I'll rise above it. My name is Peter G. Again, be kind. Don't take any shit from people, but be kind. All right? We got more problems than we know what to do with going on right now. We're so heavily divided. Kind of sucks. We'll get through it. But remember, don't be hating your friends just because of opinions. There's a lot going on right now. Whether you think you're right or you think they're wrong, and vice versa, remember why they're your friend for so long, and keep it that way. Yeah, love you too. Love all of you. All right? Talk to me during the week. Send me comments. I want to know. Hey, and if anybody wants to be on this show, if you got something to talk about that's worth talking about and you want to be on this show, contact me. I'll put you on. I'm looking for different things. I want to see what's going on out there. If you've got something to bring to the table and you think it's worth talking about, and believe me, don't be afraid. Don't be shy. Nobody watches anyway. Talk to me. I want to hear what's going on and why you want to be on the show. All right. That's basically it. Again, love you guys. Talk to you next week. Baltimore's Mr. Bob Half. East meets West. So get ready. Always a good show with Bob. I love you guys. Peace out.
Peter G. Show. Peter G. Show. Divorced dad. Single dad. Divorced dad. Single dad. Peter G. Show.